Disclaimer: all opinions are my own, so this video might age very well or very badly with Season 2, we'll see. This will be a pretty light-hearted analysis about some themes around the Hexcore and Piltover's Ethos of Progress. There will also be a bit of sarcasm here and there, so you've been warned. I'll add relevant screenshots, spoilers for Season 1 ahead.
Piltover, the land of progress, equality, innovation. I know it sounds impossible.
One could say that killing the protagonist's parents in the opening sequence would make this statement quite contentious from the outset for the viewer. Since this is a short reverse shot, we know by implication that someone or something is looking at the bridge below. Anyway, we have to remember that this story has two sides, and there are merits and flaws to both of them. The sides are denoted by affiliation to one of two parts of the city, Piltover, or topside, and its undercity, later known as Zaun. This video will just discuss Piltover and its ethos of progress. There will be a little quiz later on, so if you want, get pen and paper ready. To be able to tackle the ethos of the self-proclaimed bastion of enlightenment, we need to talk a bit about its political system. In this rich world-building story, a few quirks have found their way that we absolutely should not think too much about, but we have to address nonetheless. Piltover is a city-state, governed by the 7 high houses of the council, an inheritance-based oligarchy aristocracy that presides over the city as tripartite system of power rolled into one political body, with Piltover's Academy being its law or ethos advisory body, which has its own little dangerous knowledge and research book-burning tradition. Dangers for progress ideas and people are swiftly removed thanks to Council's hard ongoing work, and Piltover's citizens live in safety and prosperity. The 7 houses of the Council have held their seats for several generations. Being 200 years old city, you may ask how many generations were there since the Council seems to be established for life. Approximately 8. As exemplified here. You might be confused if you count the seats, but maybe they just like the table or it's traditional. Anyway, a bit of real-world setup from the time of French Revolution and writings of one Baron de Montesquieu, and most of it is from Wikipedia, so go check it out. The distribution of political power among legislative, executive, and judiciary was envisioned to prevent power to excessively centralize in a single monarch or similar ruler. The judiciary power generally is seen as the most important of the three to be independent and unchecked. According to the principle of checks and balances, each of the branch of the state should have the power to limit or check the other two, creating a balance between the 3 separate powers of the state. Each branch's effort to prevent either of the other branches becoming supreme form part of an internal conflict, which leaves people free from government abuses.
I'm assistant to the Dean of the Academy, who it may serve you to remember is also head of the council.
If you, like me, had alarm bells ringing in your head upon hearing one person having so much power, since he presides over both the council, the organ of legislative, executive, and judicial powers in Piltover, and the advisory body of the council, the Academy, you need not to worry. Actually, looking at his character design resembling that of an enforcer's, it'd be very funny if he was also somehow head of the enforcers, right? Unlike some councillors that certainly have their flaws, like corruption, which might not even be corruption because they are the people in power that set the laws of the land, at this point you can call it however you like. I mean no disrespect to councillors, Hoskell is one of my favorite background characters, tenacious like a terrier, dumb like a brick. Anyway, we clearly see that head of the council and academy, Professor Cecil B. Heimerdinger, hands are clean.
That merchant formerly enjoyed certain leniencies with regard to her trade, in exchange for her generous academy patronage.
By leniencies, you mean corruption.
Exactly. And Piltover's political system is at least democratic within the council, with each member voting in line with their own conscience and holding each other accountable. See, just like that. They're already laser focused on keeping each other accountable. And it's not like one person could influence how ethos or the law is interpreted. Maybe outside of this scene,
Violation of the ethos calls for banishment. But I can sympathize with a young man's dream to change the world. Perhaps in this matter, a lesser sentence may suffice. I move that Jayce be summarily expelled from the Academy.
but this could be a gracious act, and not influencing bending the law through sheer authority of being the head. So, even if hypothetically one person would be the head of the council and its advisory body, the academy, there's still accountability for their action within the system.
It will take vigilance. We must hold each other accountable.
And who holds you accountable?
What?
Exactly. While many current nation building projects don't have the courtesy of meeting and working with their founding fathers, Piltover is a lucky one. At more than 300 years old, Professor Heimerdinger is still there to guide the citizens to the bright future. I mean, who is a better authority on the ethos of Piltover's progress than the founder himself? And if hypothetically he wasn't, who would know? Everyone but him is dead at this point. Heimerdinger is a mentor character to our two young, foolish scientists, Jayce and Viktor.
You don't understand what's at stake. But how can you? That's a burden that only I here carry. Time. I've seen this power in the wrong hands. It corrupts, consumes, lays waste to civilizations. That cannot happen here, my boy. It must not.
First time, I agreed in episode 2 that, yeah, Heimerdinger is right about magic. He has seen it before, how bad it can go, and he understands what's at stake. Unlike Jayce. While there might have been some confusion within me since in the same episode I did see Jayce himself being saved by magic. I mean, not exactly magic, that's what Jayce underlines, but a mage. And Heimerdinger's flashback has a bit of a specific visual quality. I kind of still stuck to Heimerdinger's opinion and put a pin in this visual quality of it for later. Personally, I was waiting for his words to come true in whole Act 1. They didn't. We got one of the most uplifting scenes in the episode 3, which still isn't hard for episode 3, but anyway. I said to myself, there's always Act 2 to prove his prediction right. He'll be right about Hextech. He, after all, has all the experience young naive people like Jayce or Viktor lack about what's at stake. He said so himself. And no, not like the fourth wall breaking meta sense of it coming true, which is a nice thing by the authors. The proper way.